So in this video we're going to look at finding rules using a table. So we did some of these in class a few days ago. We looked at in and out numbers. Now the idea was to take a number from this in column and apply some kind of rule to that number which is the same for each number to get the number in the out column. Now today they're using squares and triangles. It totally works with things like x and y or a and b, but we're going to use squares and triangles today. So the best way of figuring out these rules is usually the relationship between these numbers is you're generally going to multiply by something and then add or subtract some number. So what I like to do is I actually like to take these numbers in the square or in column and just multiply them by a number. So start with times 1, then times 2, times 3, times 4. Or the other way of doing it is to actually pick a number that gets this number to be close to this one. I'm actually going to just start with times 1 and then see how we go because they're quite small numbers. So this column is going to be all of these square in numbers times 1. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, and so on. Now the idea is to look at these numbers on this side after we've multiplied them, and remember this is the squared numbers that we're multiplying, and then saying, well, is there a way to get from here to here by doing some kind of adding? So, or I should say not from there to there, but from there to there, to get some kind of like adding. So if we did, well, plus 2, we'd have 1 plus 2 is 3. What about here? Does plus 2 work? 2 plus 2 is 4. That would work. What about here? 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So this seems to work. 4 plus 2 is 6. 5 plus 2 would be 7. 6 plus 2 would be 8. Here I'll keep going with the multiplying. So that's 10 multiplying by 1. So 10 plus 2 is 12. 100 plus 2 is 102. And here it's like asking what something plus 2 that would be equal to 43. So 41. And that would be because if you're multiplying by 1, so it would just be the number 41. So we've actually figured out the rule. The rule in this case was this, taking the square number, multiplying it by 1, and then adding on 2. So you can see the rule down here, square times something, 1 plus 2. This is what we call our rule. It's the rule that actually allows us to go from all the numbers in the squared column to the numbers in the triangle column predictably every time. So we're going to do the other ones here really nice and quick. If you want to have a go at them first, just pause the video, you can try them first. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with multiplying the square numbers here by 1, just to see if it works. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's add. Remember, we're always going from this number over after we've multiplied. 1 plus 1 would be 2. 2 plus 2 would be, well, actually it would need to be plus 3. And these are not the same number. So it doesn't work like this one does. So that means the thing we're multiplying by there is not the thing that we want to be multiplying by. So let's try another thing. Let's go with the square. Let's do times 2. So we'll do 1 times 2. So we can say, okay, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 8, and so on. 10, 12, 20, 200. So we're multiplying all the square numbers by 2 this time. And now we're saying, well, can we do something to get from here to here? Well, actually, what you'll notice is these numbers are already the same. So what do we have to add on? We actually have to add 0 on. So the rule here would be square number, and to get from the square to the triangle is to take the squared number, to multiply it by 2, and then actually add nothing on. Because multiplying it by 2 or doubling it is going to give you all the numbers in this side. And so you can actually just double all of these. And you can probably figure out the answer to this one here. What number do you double to get 30? And that would be 15. This next one, same idea. I'm going to start with multiplying. Now a nice trick with this is multiply by something that gets you close to here. So 1 times 1 is going to be quite far away from 8. So I might try something like 1 times 4 or 1 times 3 or 1 times 5, something like that. I'm going to do 1 times 3, or square times 3, but you could do anything here, just sort of probably don't start with times 1. So 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 3 is 12, 5 times 3 is 15, and so on. So let's check these numbers that we multiplied by 3. Can we add something to make this equal to this number? We could add 5. Oops. So let's try doing that to each number. 6 plus 5 Well, that's 11. So that works. Try it again. 9 plus 5. Well, that's 14. 12 plus 5 is 17. So this rule seems to work. So multiplying the square by 3 and then adding 5 seems to work. So I'm going to write that down here as our rule. Square times 3 plus 5, and we'll use it. So multiply all these numbers by 3. 6 times 3 is 18, 30, 300. And then let's add 5 onto those numbers. So 20, add 5 will be 23. Add 5 will be 33. Oh, excuse me, 35. And add 5 will be 305. These ones here are saying, is there a number, some number that you can have where you add 5 to get to 65? Well, totally, you could take 60. And same here, you could take the number 51. And then to get this original number, you're looking for a number where you need it to be something that you could actually multiply by 3 to get to here, because that's how we got this multiply by 3 column going down. So what number multiplies by 3 to give us 60? Well, that would be the number 20. So 20 would go there. And in this one, we've got 51. We need to know how many times does 3 fit into that? And it will be 17 times. So this is the number 17. The last one, this one's kind of neat. So we're going to look at, again, taking the square numbers, the ones in this column, multiplying them by something. I'm going to multiply by 1 again. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And you can see now that when we go across, oh, they totally match. So this is that idea that already the numbers match, we don't have to add anything on. Now keep in mind, so this rule, I should say, would be taking the square number, multiplying by 1 and adding 0. Keep in mind, sometimes you may end up here in this part, in the middle, subtracting something rather than adding it, and that can happen in some of the rules that you have underneath. So it's just a matter of multiplying by something, getting it really close, and then figuring out what this adding a number or subtracting number is. The big thing to remember when writing a rule, like these ones here, is to take your square number, that is the number that goes here with the multiplying number, so your in number, and your out number, or the triangle, is the one that all of this is equal to, because this is basically your result. It's like your result here on this side, or your out number, is equal to doing stuff to this in number or the square number. So that's why the triangle in this case is always on the left.